Good evening, everyone, especially to our instructor, Mr. Roger Anthony Gamali. Good evening, sir. By the way, I am Jericho Adahar, a second year college in criminology in Moise. For today's video, I will gonna make a report the which is the book character information 1 CFLM1. So I will start chapter 1 Filipino influences traits and characteristic. The Philippines is a meeting point of cultures from all over Asia and the Pacific because it has been a crossroads between East and West, and the merging of cultures reflects the country's culture and its people. It comes from various ethno-linguistic groups that are native to the islands or migrants from various Asia Pacific regions. Filipinos are the people who are naturally born to or recognized with the Philippine country. So, meaning to say, the Philippines in islands having a native groups, and in China, the United States and Spain mainly influenced the modern Filipino identity. Though Filipinos are racially similar to Malays, but in terms of culture, they are more like the Spaniards. Thus, it could be claimed that Filipinos are the most hot-blooded and have brave citizens in the tropical Asians cultures. Like other countries, the Philippines has its opposing values and levels. It is believed by the Filipinos that the country have the best values in the world, though it has experienced colonization by several countries, but the core values it has gained from the Filipino ancestors remain intact. So, and are still honored today, like the bayanihan or spirit of kinship and camaraderie implanted by Malay ancestors and close family. This inherited by the Chinese ascendants. So the most well-known traits and attitude of the Filipino positive traits. Hospitality. Hospitality is a trait displayed by every Filipino, characterized by heartwarming, generosity, and friendliness exhibited to foreigners and locals alike. Hospitality, so meaning to say, hospitality is heartwarming, humble, for example, humble, and then uh, love and caring for foreigners in this our country, Philippines. Filipinos are well known for being hospitable. This is one of the most popular qualities of Filipinos. The most foreigners who have gone to the Philippines fell in love with the warm hospitality they have experienced while staying in the country. This is a kind of value system which has existed in the country thousands of years ago. Good thing is that the hospitality of the Filipinos is not only shown to the foreigners but to its fellow Filipino as well. So meaning to say, foreigners, if uh, some of foreigners vacation in these Philippines, they they falling in love uh, with the girl in Philippines. Hospitality of Filipinos is shown in the following sample situations. So when a person visits a friend's house, the host greets him or her with a very warm welcome, and the host will immediately let their visitors sit down and will prepare a meal or a snack plus drinks for the visitor. The host will insist that the friend not leave the house with an empty stomach. A host will always make sure you had a great time visiting them. People offer their guest room to visitors if they're going to spend the night. So, meals offered to guests are very special. A host always finds a way to prepare great tasting food that her visitor wants to eat. And in respect, this is often observed not just by younger people, but also by people of all ages or age. In the Philippines, respect for one's elders in a tradition. So, respect, uh, even even though that the person is elders or uh, youngers, but always to respect. It's because respect is uh, respect in other person is to communicate good, and then these words are spoken by the Filipinos when talking to elders or in order to show respect to person. In authority, these Filipino words mean yes. When answering or talking to the elders, pagmamano, another way of showing respect to the elders when greeting them. This is done by putting their elders' hands on their foreheads. Filipinos also show respect at work by making a bow to their employers. So, strong family tastes and religions. Filipinos value their families so much that they tend to keep families intact through the generations. Families go to church and pray together because their religion is important and creates a strong bond, marking God as the center of their lives. Filipinos believe in only one God and majority of the population are Catholics. And it is a value system of the Filipinos to pray before eating, going to bed before the start of the meeting, conferences of program, gathering. On weekends, most Filipino families make sure to have a quality time together by watching television or eating a family meal, watch movies, or going to beach resorts. And an example of strong family ties and religions is, in my in my opinion, that family going beach, bonding, and then to make some of memories and generosity and helpfulness. Aside from being hospit- hospitable, Filipinos are also well known for being generous. They share that they have to the people around them even when they only have little. This could be felt during birthdays, weddings, or fiesta party. When visitors came to celebrate, great tasting special foods are especially prepared for everyone. It is shared by friends, families, or even strangers. So, example of generosity and helpfulness is a kind of person that he or she wanted to help you, and then strong work ethics. Another good thing most Filipinos have is being hardworking people. They are always willing to work almost the whole day to provide the needs of their families. Filipino farmers do earning so little, but they work harder with not much compensation. Aside from their regular work, Filipinos always find creative ways to look for other sources of income, like creating a small business from their home where they sell foods and other items for the convenience of their neighbor, neighbors. So, strong work ethics, meaning to say, Filipinos is a hard-working Filipinos always to find some ways to help their families and in loving and caring. Because of the generosity, hospitality, and religiosity, Filipinos are found to be the sweetest and most loving people in the world. It is expressed by both foreigners and Filipino women that most Filipino men are so sweet and romantic when it comes to love. They will send their beloved flowers, bring her to a very romantic place, takes her sweet quotes, and tell a friend how special she is to them. Filipino women are also romantic and very caring, which often makes some real foreigners want to marry them. Women tend to prepare dinner before their husband comes home. They love and value the relationship, always staying faithful to their husbands. They love deeply and sincerely. So, for example, loving and caring, a man always chooses her because he loves her so much, more than more than he and 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 he always to find a good, and then negative traits of Filipinos. Fatalism, bahala na or come with me. attitude. When Filipinos are facing difficulties and shortcomings, they have this attitude of leaving it up to God to sort things out of an attitude of what goes around comes around. Filipinos have a tendency to surrender the future to luck. They have that strong confidence that everything will work out in his interest without doing anything. Filipinos often accept but bad news or circumstances without trying to stop or change. This can sometimes be helpful in adversity, but it can also keep us from finding ways out of situations also. Con- Constantly expecting the worst can get pretty depressing. Manana habit. True-blooded Filipinos have the attitude of causing delays in accomplishing things or making transactions. When not interested or not in the mood, they wait or reserve until tomorrow or the next day to finish what they are doing or meeting their transaction. However, there are some Filipinos nowadays who take their time in doing things or in making decisions promptly. There are some who are habitually late or not showing up at all. There are few Filipinos who are punctual for social meetings. In fact, it is not expected of them to arrive exactly on time, especially at a party. The bahala na attitude is the outcome of the manana habit. When the tasks are left undone, this is usually shown and even expressed by people who do not care much of what lies ahead and just leave everything in fate. So meaning to say, if someone having difficult activities but he also want to finish but but their friends they they get any attention of him and grab mentality. This is an attitude of some Filipinos where they tend to push each other down to clear the way for their on on gain. Filipino people with this kind or mentality or attitude try their best to train each other, either by making issues against the other for him to turn out bad to the public or to the company or organization, so that people will gradually put distance and lose their confidence and trust that eventually result to their replacement. Hypocrisy. This is a trait of the Filipino where criticisms to others' failure to live with the moral standards of the society are inevitable. In the Philippines, morality is highly valued. Most of us try to live up to the standards set by the traditional society. However, as no one is perfect, many of us are not actually able to sustain these standards. The fear of being an outcast has forced a lot of people to live a double standard life. To hide our failure in following a norm, we tend to be condemning those who are caught red-handed. A perfect example of could be the criticism faced by those who become pregnant outside marriage. The sad fact behind this scenario is that some of these critics could have actually engaged in premarital sex to only that no proof is visible. Ningas Kogun. Most Filipinos are very good at the start when doing something. Nevertheless, after a few hours or days, that excitement to do or accomplish something is lost. We and become too lazy to finish what we have started. Tardiness Filipino time. Only in the Philippines that we have the so-called Filipino time, but not exactly referring to the Philippine standard time, but then again we use it to refer to the start of the persons that we are waiting or who keeps on coming late to the set time schedule of events. Instead of being something to be proud of, Filipino time brings a negative impression to our people when the invitation says the program will start at 7 p.m. It is expected to begin at 9 p.m. This has not only caused conflicts in relationships, it also discouraged others, including foreigners, from getting involved in supposedly productive activities, as too much time can be wasted on reading. And that's all. Thank you.